بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمد ونصلي على رسول الكريم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Alhamdulillah, we praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, ask him and peace and blessing our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. We're coming to the beginning of Zul Hijjah, the last month of the Hijri calendar. And of course Zul Hijjah takes its name from Hajj, because the Hajj rites are performed within the first 10 days or the first fortnight of Zul Hijjah. And you cannot do it any other time of the year. You can do Umrah any other time of the year, but you can't do it. And it's also called, this time is generally, it's called the Mawsam, the season. It's a season of Hajj, it's also a season of earning over there. Sadly, it's the Mawsam when the taxi prices suddenly go up 10 times. And then, the Mawsam is finished when the next day, when Hajj finishes, it drops like 10, they're literally like 10 times. But that's those 2-3 months, the season between Ramadan and then Shawwal and Zul Qa'dah and Zul Hijjah. This is they call it the season where, for the people who work there, of course, this is a season they earn, because the whole year, historically, everything used to go quiet. The rest of the year, very few people used to be there. So these 10 days that are coming upon us, the beginning of Zul Hijjah, from Sunday, I believe. So it's these first 10 days. Those we know Surah Al-Fajr, after A'udhu Billahi Minash Shaitanir Wal Fajr Wal Layalin Ashr Wal Shaf'i Wal Watr. Many Imams say that this is related to, there is difference of opinion. Some say it's the last 10 days of Ramadan, some say other days, but the main two views are these are the last 10 days of Ramadan or the first 10 days of Zul Hijjah. And there's a hadith that say that every night of these 10 days are worth as much as Laylatul Qadr. The ibad and the day, the fasting of it. So we encourage to fast in these. So these are a season of earning that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's kindness offers to the believers. After this and Muharram, the 9th and 10th, 11th of Muharram, after that there's a lull, there'll be a quiet for like 6 months. There's no specific days. You can fast the beginning of the month, the 1st, 13th, 14th, 15th, Mondays and Thursdays, that'll be there. But this type of gift and offer from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is now sort of like the end of the year, right? And the new year is starting in Muharram. There's a special day that is there on the 10th and 9th and 10th or 11th, and there you can fast as well. And then after that, it's sort of like just normal routine for like a long break for 6 months or so, where there's no special, you could say, specific days with great reward. So we should avail of this. Like we should maximize our efforts like we do in Ramadan. Any ibadah done in those special days of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and especially if we're here to be unison. Of course, the Hujjaj is not the same experience like last year, and this year the Hajj is not the same, right? It's very few limited people that are doing Hajj. And it's a strange sight, because we can only watch from a distance, but it's a strange sight to see that many less people doing tawaf, that many less people doing Hajj, literally in thousands, compared to what it was. I remember many years ago they estimated that there was 11 in one of the Hajj, they estimated there was 1.5 million illegal Hajjis, non-registered. It's a public holiday in Kingdom, in Saudi Arabia. So if you're a expat, you're a worker, labor and so forth, and you're working there, and most of them are Egyptians, Bangladeshis, Pakistanis, they're legal Hajjis, because we got stuck with them, in one place. So they don't have a tent, they don't have a place, toilet, forget about it. It was a mess, I got punched by mistake. Not by mistake, I got punched intentionally because of a mistake, bumped, because it was so squashed. I touched somebody's wife, bumped into somebody, and then it's Egyptian guy punched me. I'm looking at the Egyptian guys over there, so that's astaghfirullah. But anyway, 1.5 million, think about those numbers. That was registered as the illegal, because they counted the people in various at points in Jamarat, how many people, they know how many was registered, how many came in, snuck in, right? So that number is like now, so far it's a distant memory. The numbers that have been talked now, how many people to do tens of thousands? 60,000, there you go, 60,000, it's nothing, compared to what it was. So the Mawsam was there, the Mawsam is no longer there as it used to be. My father, rahimullah, when he's studying in Medina in the 60s, he said that when he went there, because he went in the 60s, he said very few people own cars, so everybody used to pick you up. If they see you walking, they'll pick you up for free to take you wherever you want to go. But now in the Hajj, what did it become? It became everybody's car was a taxi, right? So it's that's fine. I mean, all our cars, half of us are Uber drivers probably here, alhamdulillah. But I have many friends who are Uber drivers who are crypto. They're big into the crypto, but they're still driving Uber for some reason. But anyway, Allah give barakah in the crypto. But these 10 days that are there before us, we should utilize them. Many of us are now still working from home. People were, Allah sent us home. Go home. Send the whole ummah home. You need to take care of your family. You need to set your house right. We have big plans. Big goals. I was telling my son, he started apprenticeship, so I said to him, listen mate, I haven't seen this. Your father, my father didn't see this. My grandfather didn't see this. We don't know what this is. But this is going to be around for a while. Make shukr he got apprenticeship because he was trying to I said I don't like it. I said this is not a time to talk about what you like it. Just make shukr you got a job. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we thought the world couldn't change. We thought that there was Muslim organizations that were fighting amongst each other. All of them got sent home. You stay at home for the next 4 months, 5 months, we had the lockdown in Melbourne. The fight, everyone's sent home for a nice holiday to cool off. So we are alhamdulillah in a good situation now, alhamdulillah, compared to many other places in the world. But the thing is, raha, comfort, makes you ghafil. Raha, there's two types of tests that come. One is of shukr, of ni'am, of bounties. Oh, yeah. You know what to do?
Yeah.
Raha, comfort, makes you ghafil. One ni'mah is a ni'mah that you have to make shukr upon, and that's usually very hard. I think that's enough. That's too much maybe. Yeah, so raha, comfort, makes you ghafil. It makes you neglectful because you're comfortable. And then we don't ask for it, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for afiyah, for ease. And the other type of mujahida or the other type of test is one of hardship. We don't ask Allah for that because we're too weak to bear it. That usually wakes most people up, makes people snap out of their ghafla. We don't ask for that, but so we are in extreme comfort. So how do we make shukr to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Is to worship Him in the way that is pleasing to Him. We don't have to do somersaults. There's no dance required in Islam. The man that came, I was teaching this hadith to my students this morning. It's a hadith Imam Malik rahimahullah narrates. Talha bin Ubaidullah radiallahu anhu, he narrated this hadith from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. A Bedouin man came from Najd. It's a region in Eastern Arabia. He came, Tha'il Ras, his hair was disheveled. He asked Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam certain question about Islam. And then he asked, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said 5 times salat daily. He said, is there anything other than this upon me? Is there any other obligation of salat? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said no, but if you did tatawwa, it's like nafil. Alright? Then he went to his zakat. Is there anything more that I have to do this? He goes, if you do no, there's no obligation on you. Right? So salat, zakat, and then fasting Ramadan. Mentioned hadith. Is there any more fasting that I have to do? And he said no. But if you do nafil, it's Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is good. And this man said, I will not increase from this. Even though Rasulullah, the way he talked to him, is like very short sentences. The way he talks, he's like very pragmatic. He said, I will not do more than this and less than this. I'm not going to do increase on this, I'm not going to decrease. This is all I'm going to do. Salat 5 times a day. Ramadan, in the month of Ramadan, that's it. That's the only fasting I'm going to do. And I'm going to do zakat, the fard zakat. I'm not going to do any extra charity. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said when he left that aflaha in sadaq, he's successful if he's truthful, if he's true. He's successful if he's true. There is something to be said about getting the fundamentals right. 5 times salat on time right. Right? Although I'm giving targheeb about the 10 days, this is nafal, right? These are extra. But if someone, and then Shawliullah Muhaddis Dehli in his commentary of that, Musawwa, Al-Maswa, Musawwa, 2 different ways of saying Musawwa is his commentary on Muwatta. A great Muhaddis from India, when he's commentating on this, he said, لا تؤاخذ بتركه, that no one can be blamed or criticized or taken to task if someone only does this. If someone lives his life, he does the 5 times salat, fasts only Ramadan, and pays his zakat, Hajj is only once in a lifetime. But these 3, these are regular ibadah that comes. And that's all. He doesn't do extra nafil salat, he never does tahajjud. We should, it's not, but if that, you can't reprimand him for living, that's a big achievement. In this time and age, especially, that's Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in his time, that's in front of Sahaba radiallahu anhu. That's directly from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If he's true, then, he has attained Jannah, like he's successful. So there's something to be said about I shouldn't call it the bare minimum, but the fundamental, the basic, the foundation. If someone gets the fundamentals and the foundation right, that is a huge achievement. That's why, like Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani rahmullah, in one of his books, he said, don't invite your family to your hal, your state. Don't invite your family to your hal. Like you're experiencing some spiritual state. You've been in masjid for the whole week. For example, you made itikaf in Ramadan. You've been in the masjid the whole Ramadan. Your family hasn't. Right? It's hoped that they'll benefit from that, but they haven't experienced what you've experienced. You went to a dars, you went to experience something. Now you're going to come home, expect them to feel and understand the same thing you understood just from you saying it. You had an experience in a masjid. Brothers were there was a majlis there. As an example, especially brothers, they come more regularly to the masjid. They experienced salat in Jamaat. There was a talk there was a reminder, there was an encouragement. They heard it. Now they go home, so they're fired up, pumped up, and they should teach their family, but they expect their family to be at the same level. And because if you haven't gone through the same experience, how can... So this is what Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani, don't invite your family to your hal, your state. You are doing so many extra things. It's good, and encourage others to do the same. But in family, he said, don't invite your family to your hal, your state. Invite them, he said, make sure they observe the boundaries of the Sharia. Halal and haram. Right? One of the Qurra, famous Qurra, his daughter became a musician, singer. He thought his daughter became a hafiza, qariya, all the effort was made. And all of that she used for what? For music, for singing. And when is an interview that she gave, and she said that my father made the sabr of Ayyub alayhi salam with me. He came, because he wanted her, she wanted his blessings. He said, I read the Quran to the whole world. I teach the Quran. How can I go against the book of Allah? How can I disobey the book of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? I tell the whole world to read the Quran and the orders of the obligations of the Quran. How can I disobey? How can I tell you to disobey Allah when I read the Quran and teach the Quran to the whole world? She said in later life, as a regret, he just said that, and then he walked to his room and closed the door quietly. Anyway, the point, nafal is something that we should emphasize, encourage it in a positive way, help each other. Create an environment for doing nafal ibadah in our masajid, in our houses and so forth. Remind each other of the good things, especially these 10 days, fasting, praying. And like I said, you don't have to do somersaults for Allah. What's the most important ibadah that we do? Is salat. In salat, it's tasbih. Do extra nawafil, nafil salat. We encourage to do that anyway. Tahajjud, duha, in the morning, in the evening. Extra nawafil we do. Right? What better? There's nothing better than that. Reading tilawat, making tilawat of Quran. Make it focus. Alright, these next 9-10 days, I'll read more tilawat of Quran. Right? We like the most fun, make dhikr of Allah. These are the big ibadah, huge ibadah. Huge ways to get nearness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Dhikr of Allah, spend some time making tasbih. Sit dedicated for, not like tasbih has its effects and benefit, even if you're driving and doing other jobs, of course. But sit actually dedicated, like, alright, 5 minutes. I can't do 1 hour. There's people in Melbourne that do 2-3 hours of adhkar. They sit and do adhkar for hours. Busy people. They're not unemployed, they're not, these are busy people. If you want to get something done, they said give it to a busy person. They're busy and they're mothers, they're busy with 3, 4, 5 kids, and still with all that responsibilities they find time for hours of adhkar, dhikr of Allah and ibadah. So dhikr of Allah, but if I can't do that, I don't want to say something's better than nothing, something of this is everything. But sometime I dedicate 5 minutes. If I can't do an hour of tahajjud, I've seen my teacher, hours of tahajjud. But I can take a few minutes out, 2 rakats. I mean, it's so late now, like Fajr is like 6:03, 6:05, like that. Literally, I mean, most of us are working, that we are waking up, and then, like, if you wake up 5 minutes earlier, 10 minutes, most of it, I mean, the roads are chock. I leave, like, work usually 6 o'clock for work, and the roads are full. Like, I mean, if you're driving the freeway, especially Western Union Road, and it's suicidal driving on the Western Road in the morning, just between trucks, and you can tell people are sort of half asleep and they're not all there. Like almost have 3-4 accidents every morning. But like people are working for their dunya, they've got focus, they getting up, and they people are, they've got, like, we work hard, like for dunya we make all the sacrifice. I used to wash cars 3 o'clock in the morning in Ringwood. Like car yards, even if it's winter, it's raining, you have to wash the cars to get the dust off the cars. 3 o'clock in the morning, in the rain, your clothes are like soaked to like right to the inside. It's freezing, cold water. But you do it because you're getting benefit. The fada'il, you don't need a book of fada'il, there's no other salihin for that. The whole dunya is already, tell you, young person, you have to make your life in this dunya. You have to sacrifice. So we do it automatically. For deen, we need to remind ourselves so we don't miss out. But also at the same time, we have to be careful that not to overdo it, that we make a sunnah act, like almost like fard, then we make arrangements for it, that we have to do it in the masjid, gather for it. And this last thing I wanted to say, so I'll talk about Arafah and Hajj and all those things, day of Yawm al-Arafah, and all those sort of things next week, inshallah. Just if we can make use of these days, it's our benefit. If I make use of it, it's my benefit. If I do extra things, it's my benefit. And dua for ourselves and the ummah. That was the last thing. Also, a lot of requests came for dua. A lot of people passed away this week. I mentioned last week as well, there's Brother Zubair is an accountant in, I don't know if you know, from Dandenong. Brother Zubair, his father passed away. I did Hajj with him and the son and the father together many years ago. MashaAllah, his brother, he's not here, so he's a janazah, I think it's today. That, subhanAllah, how many Muslim organization he gives volunteers his time for, Allah reward him. And Allah yarhamu, his father passed away. And also Brother Lutful Kabir, Bangladeshi brother's been here many times. His wife passed away, janazah today in Dandenong, after Juma actually now. And Brother Hafiz Harun, I mentioned last week, I don't know if you know him, Hafiz Harun, from Lucky Marwat. His wife passed away last week, in the 20s, just she went to bed, lied down and passed away. So we make dua for them. Allah maghfir lahum warhamhum, may Allah forgive them, have mercy. Allah majal quburum rawdan min riyadil jannah, Allah make their graves a garden from the gardens of paradise. And also lastly, I wanted to mention for Eid Salat, we'll mention some announcements after Juma, inshallah. If we can just stay for 2-3 minutes, some announcements will be made, especially related to Eid Salat. Eid Salat will be, the bookings made, the permissions are not there 100%. Malam Malam, the stadium where we had the Eid al-Fitr, the Masjid Eid al-Fitr, it's booked again as an event and so forth, but it's not 100%. So make dua, it gets confirmed, inshallah. But alhamdulillah, arrangement, last time we had 2,000 plus people there. So here, if we do it here, we only at 300. So we're planning to do 8 Jumas. So Muhannad was to be one Khatib and Imran, and you guys don't know that we're making plans, plotting against you. So it's so we was thinking we're doing like 7-8 Jumas to get all the numbers in. So we just every 15-20 minutes we just rotate. But inshallah, make dua that arrangement works out, inshallah, so we can have one Eid, inshallah. Also the start of that. So there's two. Obviously we always have a different start. So those people following the Hilal sighting, I think on Sunday night they will view the Hilal, and those who following the board of imams, they probably wait for Saudi's announcement. When bin Salman announces, then the board of imams will follow, inshallah. Astaghfirullah. Allah give us understanding and tawfiq to practice what we're saying here.